Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video, well, it's nostalgia time again. Well, here we are again. Yes, we are going back in time, and we're looking at annuals. Yes, annuals. It's a great tradition which may even be unique to the world, that in Britain at Christmas time people get as gifts annuals. It's always been there. I remember it right from my childhood. Sometimes you might get 2 or 3 annuals, and you're saying, what are annuals? Well, annuals were really your favorite comics, often producing comic strips, often unique as well to that particular annual and collection. And also films as well. If there was a particular hit film, maybe of that year, an annual might be produced. Annuals are just a tradition, I think, that is still going today. There's always unique annuals from films, obviously, that are big. But, you've got Beano, Dandy, they're still producing annuals, which is great. On Doctor Who, of course, unfortunately, with they're still producing the new stuff, but we won't talk about that. But Doctor Who is definitely going to come up. The classic Doctor Who, of course. What I'll do is I better just get on with it, Anta. So I've already touched upon it, but the traditional annuals, I think, at Christmas are often epitomised by this. And these are old comics that go way back, traditional comics, and this is still going. It's the Beano. I'm sure it's very different now from what it was, even going back to this. This is 1973. This is brilliant. Dennis the Menace there. And yes, I think Dennis the Menace is a bit different from his nowadays, but this is great. This is a wonderful... I've got more of these annuals, but I just thought I'd show you this one. Fantastic. And it is good that it's still going, even though it may be in a very diluted, different form. So that's the Beano. And then we have got the rival in many ways. People saw it as, I say, as a companion, really. It's Dandy. Of course, Dandy. Now, this stopped. I'm afraid it's not going. That's why I say Beano is probably the last of these traditional comics. Though, as far as I know, the annual for the Dandy is still being produced. So that's good. That's good. That's a good reminiscence, isn't it? The fact that they're still producing the Dandy at Christmas. So, I call it at Christmas, though they come out, I think, often about August, September, these start to appear in shops ready for the Christmas market. But I associate them with Christmas. Anyhow, so this one is from 1975, this one. I've got more of these again in the collection, but there we are. I just thought I'd show that's more traditional Dandy. Brilliant. And then another... there was a lot of sort of imitation comics of similar kind of comics to Beano and Dandy. And one of them was Topper. I don't know if any of you remember this, but this is from 1989. The Topper annual. It's the same kind of art, as you can see, the same kind of stories, just different characters, but they appeal to the same as the Beano and Dandy. And that's Topper anyhow. And then I've got, this just instantly, I look at this annual and I'm straight back to my childhood. I used to get this comic in the 60s, always excited. And of course it was linked to some great TV series and, Jerry Anderson TV series. Here it is, look, TV 21. Oh, it's got here, TV Century 21. Oh, Century TV 21, whatever way you want to say it. But I always knew it as TV 21. And there is the annual. And on the front here, you can see you've got Stingray there. And you've got Thunderbirds. I think, is that Fireball XL5? Yeah. Oh, wonderful series. It's still loved. And they're still going in a way. You know, physical media, you can get hold of all these series still and enjoy them and go back in time. Stingray always appealed for me. The toys. You see, that's another thing. I haven't got really the toy. I wish I had some of those toys that I got in the 60s. Oh, wow. Yeah, playing with that in my bath. I know it sounds terrible. And having these brilliant models. There were plastic models that we had. I remember Thunderbird 1, 2, and 3 having those. Oh, wonderful. Anyhow, that's TV 21. It was just a great magazine. But also, as I remember as well, they had things like Doctor Who sometimes printed in the strips. And the Daleks, of course. And they had other sort of things that were popular at the time on TV, as well as, they say, the Jerry Anderson things. So that was really good, as I remember. That's TV 21. The next one is another comic that I enjoyed in the 60s. And I remember getting this. I know exactly this out. I got this on my 8th birthday. It was just something that I used to get as well. Not as often, but I'd pick it up when I could, which was Lion. Yeah, brilliant Lion. It's interesting. I look at this and I think to myself, the spider. I wonder what that is ripping off. Yes, of course. You see, it's a Spider-Man rip-off. But you can see the old-fashioned look back at the Westerns. Westerns had been big in the 1950s and into the 60s as some of the comics. And Westerns were on TV a lot, you know. And look, Westerns, we've got a Western there. And so we've got the sci-fi with, look at that big robot. Brilliant. And then, of course, you got like some adventure stuff. And that's what all this was about. Lion was great fun. I know there's more people who probably know more about the history than I do, but I'm just seeing it from my personal memories of when I was reading it and getting it. And say this annual it's an original annual that I've got. It's so good. Then, so we're back again to Jerry Anderson. And look, it's a modern update. Look, 1993. What happened was, as I remember, in the 90s, they started to show some of these again. Stingray, and I think they may have even done Thunderbirds. But I remember Stingray being shown again. And this is why they brought out the annuals. Yeah, look. That's 1993. Oh, wonderful. I'd love to have had an original sort of 60s one of these. I'm sure they might have been a 60s. I don't know. I may be wrong, but oh, it's good to see that. Anyhow, that's from 1993. Then here I've got a Batman one. Yeah. This one is from 1992. Now, there's all these various differences linked, I think, with the films and before the films came out. Because some didn't add more the Dark Knight kind of Batman that we see. But this isn't. Look, that's the more traditional Batman and Robin. And that's from 1992. So it's good to see that they were doing that. They may have, for all I know, I don't know. So I'm sure there's experts who know about this. I should have done my research, which is a bit naughty on me. But they may have been other annuals produced, which were more nearer the sort of Dark Knight kind of Batman. I don't know. This is 1992 anyhow, but I love seeing this. That same one back there, the artwork. I just love that artwork. And then, do you remember I mentioned about films? And then films linked with TV series as well. This is a good example of something that was linked. Look, Planet of the Apes, the TV series. And they cashed in, I think, of the love that people had of Planet of the Apes. There you can see the characters from the TV series. Brilliant. It was a brilliant TV series, which we loved in this country, but it still got cancelled because America didn't love it as much. But there we are, Planet of the Apes, some great memories, fantastic. Then I got this much later, but this is really a nice. I really like this annual as well. I'm sure there's all the Marvel fans booing, but hey, who cares? I liked it. It's the DC annual of their universe. Look at all the DC characters. Isn't that great? Fantastic. That's from 1999. I really like that, so I thought, oh, I remember. Oh, I'll get that. And I did. Then we're back here with Jerry Anderson again. Yes. Space Precinct. This is the last live action Jerry Anderson production, which unfortunately only got one series. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I realised that one of my faults is I should get the complete box set. I've got some on DVD where they did, I think, 2 or 3 stories together. Yeah, I'm just looking down there. Yeah, I've got a few there. The ones with the stories on. This is really a good series. And you can see, look, we've got the 2 major characters there. And then look, can you see these? A bit closer. The mixture with the aliens. You see? It was brilliant. And it was well done. And these were like grizzly cops you had as well. Fantastic. You know, some of them were just brilliant characters. And, you know, absolutely loved it. Great series. I wish other people would have enjoyed it. But maybe there might be more people now appreciate it. I don't know. But it was a great series. Then, of course, perhaps my favourite Jerry Anderson series. Only just ahead maybe of Thunderbirds. Because Thunderbirds, you always think of those, but there's something special about Captain Scarlet. Captain Scarlet was fantastic. This is one of the Jerry Anderson series that I'm lucky enough to have on Blu-ray. I've got the complete Captain Scarlet ones, which I think was released on Network. And I haven't got the Thunderbirds. I know I should have the Thunderbirds, shouldn't I? There we are. Yeah, there it is. Brilliant. I love Captain Scarlet. Now, here, this is cashing on very much later, but I think I saw this for about £1 somewhere, and I just picked it up. And I thought, well, why not? It's the X-Men annual, and this is 2012, so you see, much later. But, you know, this became popular, and I thought, you know, why not get it? It was cheap, and, you know, it reminds you of, you know, the comics again with all this and linked with the films, so fantastic. And then, this is perhaps a rarity. One of my few rarities in annual collecting. I think this is quite difficult to get hold of or going for ridiculous prices. But I have got this. This is Star Trek The Next Generation annual. It's the only one that was produced of this. They didn't produce any more annuals, which seems a shame. And also, in the comic strip, though Data is there, they can't have had the rights for Data, so they put in this other character as well, which is rather strange. But there we are. I love the Next Generation, like the original series. I love the original series and the Next Generation. I think they're fantastic. They'll never be topped in terms of Star Trek. They were just fantastic. No, I loved all Star Trek up to Enterprise. I still enjoy the Enterprise as well, but these early ones, they're just a bit something special. And Next Generation, I think it's great. Absolutely. Really, if you look at Next Generation, the amount of really bad episodes is not that many. That is the quality. Yeah, there's some that were sort of mediocre, but they were always entertaining. But there's also a lot of really good, excellent episodes as well that are up there. Some great, wonderful things. That's the Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I'm really pleased I've got that. That is perhaps the rarest album annual that I've got. And then I've got, now this you would imagine would be quite valuable or even rare, but it's not, surprisingly. This is the first Doctor Who annual. If you look on eBay, you can probably pick this up for £20 to £30. I know that may still my quite, but really, I love Patrick Troughton, and I haven't got any Patrick Troughton annuals. And if you look on that, they're going for real stupid money. Hundreds. Yes. But this one was the first annual. It is nice to have it. I'm glad I have got this. And, you know, fantastic. A William Hartnell there. Yeah. And then I've got more, but I'll just show you two more Doctor Who annuals. We've got here 1974 John Pertwee. Got an example of John Pertwee. And I thought, well, we better do an example of Tom Baker, and the most popular Doctor. Well, and the longest, so there's more of his annuals. But there's one from 1980 annual there. Tom Baker, absolutely fantastic. What can I say? Now, there is one more lot of annuals that I used to get, but I haven't got that many left. And particularly one, Scorcher. I haven't got any Scorcher. Wow, I love Scorcher. It was a football comic. So, the only football comic annual I've got here, and this I used to get quite a bit, was Shoot. There is Shoot from 1973, that is. It's got George Best there. Alan Ball, Bobby Moore, absolute legends. Oh, and for me, of course, there's an absolute legends here. We've got Leeds, of course, brilliant against Arsenal. We're big rivals with Arsenal, we were. Jack Charlton, look at Jack Charlton, and my idol, he was Billy Bremner. Oh yeah, Billy Bremner, what a man. A lot of people didn't like him. He was a tough little man, he really was. But he was a great player. And somebody I actually met, actually got his autograph and everything. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, there it is. I think that's my tour of annuals. I've got more, but I've just thought I'd give you a nice taster maybe of what kind of things that I've got in my collection. I hope you enjoy it. Annuals are always good, you know, and I love the fact that the tradition is still there to some extent. They're still being produced, and that is good. It has to be good, really. You know, as they got Dandy and Beano annuals are still there. You can still get them. So, a great tradition, and I hope they keep it going. But I suspect sales are not as high. You know what I mean? How it is with a lot of things nowadays. You know, younger people just are not interested in this kind of thing. But hey, that's how it is. Anyhow, I've gone on a bit too long, haven't I? By heck, I have. If you're new to this channel, first time you've seen me, then please subscribe to my channel, because then you'll find out, if you look in the playlists, all the sort of things that I do and review. I do film reviews, TV shows, also some music as well. And if you like this video, please, if you give this video a like, it gets it onto YouTube so other people might enjoy it. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I'll always reply to your comments. I love reading your comments. And that's it. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.